Alright, people, what's up? This is your boy Alex. Yeah, it is hot as hell. Well, it's about to be summer, so that's why. Alright, I'm gonna do another video for you all. I wanna say thank you to my 39 subscribers. Without y'all, this would not actually be possible. Now, most YouTubers, when they get 39 or 40 or 50 or 60 or even 70 subscribers, they get big headed and think they're on top of the world, and they forget who put them there, and then they fall flat on their face and forget that it was the people who helped get them to a certain level. I mean, I still put in the hard work and the dedication to get 39 subscribers, but it was y'all who subscribed to my channel that made it possible. Like Agent Smith said in The Matrix, without purpose, we would not exist. So without y'all, I probably wouldn't even be making these YouTube videos. And don't worry, I will talk about some football. I promise you, when we get closer to the NFL season, I'm going to talk about football. But in the summer, I'm going to make a limited football series that's going to be called NFL Who's Better. And the first episode is probably going to be Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers, New England Patriots versus Green Bay Packers. But that's going to be talking about which football player won the most championships, which we already know, but we'll get to that later. Today's video discussion for my 39 subscribers is going to be called Sex Talk 101. Sex Book of a Woman. Now, you probably might ask yourself, and you probably might scratch your head, Alex, why would you call the video Sex Talk 101, Sex Book of a Woman? See, here on YouTube, in the dating / manosphere, we never get a chance to talk about what's inside of a woman's black book. The legendary, infamous Little Black Book. It's a book that every woman has. Donovan Sharp, who was a popular YouTube blogger who had his own show on YouTube before, he said some things that rubbed some feathers and angered and pissed some people off and shut down his channel permanently. Never got a chance to tell you about, or if you did, you would have to find out on his Patreon. And I know some of y'all don't like paying on Patreon. I understand it, I get it. But I'm going to tell you what could have been in that Patreon video had they not messed up his channel. Because now he has his own website, and you got to go to the Donovan Sharp website to find out what I'm talking about. And again, he still might make you pay because he's a businessman, so don't be upset when he has a video, but he still charges money. Now, this is universal. So I don't want no one coming to my comment section saying, you just talking about black women. This is universal now. You got black women who do it, white women, Latino women. Yeah, not too much Asian and Filipino women do it, but they do it from time to time depending on circumstances. And I suspect that some foreign women might be doing it. Can't prove it, but I'm just making the video so you don't be confused. It's summertime, or close to it, and I said I would make summer videos, and this is one of them. Now, the Little Black Book that women carry around contains a bunch of names. And in that book are names of multi-billionaires, millionaires, not too many guys that make thousands of dollars, but guys who play professional sports. And they target certain men that they find physically, sexually attractive. And when they have this book, the name could contain anywhere from 10 names to 15 to 20 to 30 to 40 to possibly 50 names. Hell, there could be 100 names in this book. And you see, a woman don't just carry around her diary. She has two books. Her diary and then the Little Black Book. And Hollywood's even made movies and television shows of this. And one of them that comes to mind is the story of Poison Ivy. Not to be confused with DC's character villainous Poison Ivy, but there was a movie made 30 years ago with Hollywood actress Drew Barrymore. And she was playing a teenage girl that, you know, the typical story, you know, ditch class, you know, don't want to do her homework, you know, out there partying on Friday and Saturday nights, hanging out with athletes, and there was a book, and in a book, there were names in the book, and that's where I'm going to leave it if you ain't never seen the movie. But my point is, this little black book contains names. And this is a book that they carry all throughout life. High school, college, the real world, Hollywood. And each time they get to the man, they scratch off that person's name off that list, and they move on to the next person. Think of the little black book, aka sex book, as Baskin Robbins. You might say, are you serious, Alex? It's hot. And you talking about ice cream? Yes, I said Baskin Robbins. They have 31 flavors of ice cream, right? All the ice cream you can possibly think of at Baskin Robbins, they have it. And what happens is, the women go after guys that they find physically, sexually attractive. This is what happens when women describe their sexual adventures with men. Why the average beta male man goes to work 5 days a week or 6 days a week, or in this case, I'm just going to say the old saying, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. He has no idea, no clue whatsoever what his wife or girlfriend does behind his back. And when she goes out to the nightclubs on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and some special occasions, and not in every city and not in every state, but in some cities and some states, they have nightclubs on Sundays now. Yeah, go figure. And what happens is they hang out with a bunch of girls and they go to the club and they scope out which they think might be a guy that we call the man. You might have seen my Alpha Male series where I made 4 videos on the rules of being the man. And they go in there looking for multi-billionaires. If they can't find a multi-billionaire, they try to find the multi-millionaire. Can't find that, they'll try to find basketball players. Basketball players, football players, baseball players, tennis players, soccer players, guys that do track, that run, guys that do swimming. If they can't find anyone that does any athletic sport, they move into the category of business. You know, they might be looking for a stockbroker, a shareholder, a bank investor, lawyers, doctors, you know. And every now and then you might get a guy that's a police officer, a firefighter. And when a woman has on that list in the book is her sexual fantasy. A lot of times you get women from the age of 18 to 29 that usually does this. They'll go after a guy behind their husband or boyfriend's back, and she'll start cheating and messing around. And the sad part is, everyone else knows about it except for the poor guy. He has no clue this is actually happening. You know, when she goes to places like Los Angeles, California, New York City, Chicago, where she'll go to places like Las Vegas, she'll go to Miami, Florida, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, Texas. She'll go to places like that where she know for a fact her husband or boyfriend doesn't know she's doing this type of behavior. And as soon as she can get the attention of a guy that drives a motorcycle, it's on. And she scratched that off the list because she always wanted to get banged by a guy that drives fast motorcycles or fast cars, you know, NASCAR, or should I say movies like Fast and Furious. She might go to a drag racing event. And her husband thinking she going, you know, to church or to the movies or out with her girlfriends. He don't think none of this because he don't think she would be like that. But the girls like this. And then if it ain't that, then it's the obvious. Now let's talk about job titles, because a lot of men want to know, is it true? Is it not true? Is it real? Is it fake? Do girls like to get why women like to get freaky dicky with the security guards? Now this is universal. This doesn't matter if it's a black woman, a white woman, a Latino woman, or an Asian woman. This is universal. This usually happens about 70 to sometimes 85%, and maybe on your best day, 90%. Now, it is true that if you're a security guard, you're going to get laughed at, made fun of, teased, and often at times disrespected. Nobody likes security guards, to tell you the truth. You need a security guard to mandate order, to make sure they do their job. You see a lot of the Hollywood actresses in television and film, or the supermodel come in, and a lot of times you be trying to holler at these chicks and they just blow you off. But then every now and then you get an 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old girl from another city, another state, who's never been to Los Angeles, California, who's never been to New York City, who's never been to Chicago, who's never been to Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Miami, or Las Vegas, and she'll see a man that will appear to her as the man. Now the reason why this happens is because it represents power. Now you might say, how does being a security guard represents power when you just said that they disrespect security guards? Women from the age of 18 to like 22, 23, they have a fascination with security guards. Most men who are a security guard, whether it's at the store, supermarket, the gas station, the supermarket, or school or college or wherever the security are, most men who are a security guard are usually between the height of 5'10" to 6'4", anywhere from 190 to 250 pounds of rock solid muscle. These men at one point played basketball and football in high school and college. So from that standpoint, the woman finds the man physically, sexually attractive. And then in most cases, because she's young and she ain't never been outside her city and state, when she goes on summer vacation to travel to Los Angeles, California, New York City, Chicago, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Miami, Las Vegas, when she traveled to these locations, that's when her sexual fantasy comes to life. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful, he looks like he got a lot of stamina, he's in athletic shape. And then that's when it becomes I want to get banged by the security guard. I want to get banged in the butt by a security guard. And most men don't understand it. Most men be like, he ain't got no real power. He don't have no real authority. So what it is that you're obsessed and fascinated by a security guard. And usually this is how security guards be getting women from the age of 18 to 22, sometimes 23. Same thing if you're at McDonald's or Burger King. You may be an assistant manager or an assistant supervisor or a supervisor, and it happens again. An 18, 19, 20-year-old girl got a fascination with a security guard. Now, it does wear off after a while. I would say maybe 2 years or 3 years, the fascination does die down a bit, and it's over. Now, if you ain't smashing 1 to 2 years or in 3 years, then oh well, it goes that fast. So that's the thing with security guards. But that's on her list. I want to get banged by a security guard because he represents power. Once she's done with the security guard, she moves on to what really actually is a representation of power. Police. Oh, there's some women that get their panties wet when they see the LAPD. Now, people like me and you, if we walking up the street or down the street and we get stopped by the police, we kind of be like, man, I ain't did nothing wrong. I ain't commit no crimes. Now, when a woman gets stopped by the police, she's actually smiling and happy that she got stopped by a man of power. She sees the badge, the handcuffs, the nightstick, the pepper spray, the taser. She sees the gun. And when she sees the gun, oh shit. She is finding him physically, sexually attractive. She'll show her breasts. She'll even intentionally on purpose take her seatbelt off in her car and try to show her butt. And the cop will start smiling, start grinning, and be like, okay, I'll let you off with a warning. And that's usually when the phone number gets exchanged, especially if it's a police officer with a motorcycle, a chopper. She scratches that off the list. I got the security guard, I got the police officer, I got the police officer with a motorcycle, so that's 3 guys. If for some reason it's a firefighter, oh, she just can't resist. He's big, he's strong. He carried me out of the house before the house collapsed and burned down. This is stuff that the average man, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, don't understand. Not your fault. It's just what happens in life when you're not misinformed of this information. But don't worry, because I'm telling it to you in this video, so you don't be going, I didn't know this. No one never told me this. I'm telling it to you. And if it ain't that, then it's usually a bodybuilder or a weightlifter or a power lifter, but more famously a bodybuilder. Here, because I live in Los Angeles, California, there's a place called Venice Beach, aka Muscle Beach. It's where Arnold Schwarzenegger started his bodybuilding career. If not started it, that's where he went to get put on the map, and that's how he broke into Hollywood doing television and then ultimately film as an action star. And about 95% of the time when women go on summer vacation and they travel here to Los Angeles, California, the first thing that most women want, and this is universal, doesn't matter if she black, white, Latino, Asian, Filipino, or even foreign, where is Muscle Beach? And when they go to Muscle Beach, they're taking pictures. And sometimes the woman might take a picture of the guy, his stuff flex and he does all this. And then, maybe 5 months later, she tries to get a hold of the bodybuilder. And, that's that story where you come home from a long, harsh day of work and you can't believe she getting banged by a bodybuilder or by a weightlifter or a power lifter. And your whole life gets destroyed and shattered like glass. And if it ain't bodybuilders, weightlifters, or power lifters, then it's someone from the entertainment industry. An actor, a film producer, a film director. Now all of a sudden she in television and film all of a sudden. And people telling you, man, I think that's your wife. Nah, man, that ain't my wife. My wife works at Macy's. She ain't that type of woman to be taken advantage of. Man, I swear, dog, I think that's your wife. All of a sudden, you look closer. Oh shit, it is. But it's too late. This is something that happens to the most average man. And what's in this book are names of guys that she always wanted to get screwed and banged by. Even if you look at rap music. Now, you all know that this is especially between black and Latino women do this a lot. If it's somebody in the hip-hop world, oh yeah, they'll cheat on their husband or boyfriend like that. Don't matter if it's Lil Wayne, Drake, Future, 2 Chainz, Rick Ross the Boss, Ludacris, 50 Cent. If it's Little Bow Wow, Little Romeo, whoever's popular and big in hip-hop at the time. Right now, Drake's holding the game down. I can't player hate on the player. Drake's got the game on lockdown. He's on fire. Him and Future, they got the game on lock. And let's not forget Chris Brown. They got the game on lock. And when women go to these rap concerts, it's the same thing again. And guess what? These women will go to every single city and every single town, and they will follow these men because they're fascinated. That brings representation of power. Now, in part 2, I'll talk about what happens when they chase men of political power. See, part 1, I wanted to give you a breakdown of the sense and history of the Black Book, aka the sex book. Because a lot of people be asking, by the time you meet a woman in her 30s, how many men she slept with. So that's why I made this video, because it always comes to that question, how many men have the woman slept with? See, people always want to know how many women a man slay, but a lot of times we never ask how many men a woman slayed and then how many women got slayed by the man. So This is part one. I don't want to make this too long because it's probably long already. And later I'll drop part two on what happens when they're obsessed with men and political power.